President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assumed office as Nigeria's 16th democratically elected president. And on that day, a lot of things went down, but highlighting the day was the inaugural speech, which had a lot of issues Nigeria is currently grappling with, inherent in it, with solutions proffered as well. But on that day, the president alluded to the fact that the fuel subsidy regime that we have so much talked about, a lot of conversations have been built around this same topic. I remember sometime last year, the federal government proposed the removal of the fuel subsidy, but for some reason it wasn't achieved, and eventually this was made public officially, even though we all know, and for those who do not know, that the 2023 budget does not make provision for the fuel subsidy, which is, that's a secret, an open secret, so to speak. Now, this comment by the president, fuel subsidy is gone, has really generated a lot of reactions from Nigerians, those who probably are not as informed and who do not really understand the workings of some of these issues, believe that the president, the new president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was the one who removed subsidy. But the truth of the matter is, the 2023 budget doesn't make or do not have such provision, and inadvertently, it has to go after all. Even if we didn't make that comment, the fuel subsidy is tactically and logically gone without much ado. This morning, we'll talk about some of the pros and cons of the fuel subsidy removal. And then we'll try to also weigh some of the comments Nigerians have been passing, the realities on ground, what government should do to, ameliorate the sufferings of Nigerians regarding this fuel subsidy removal. And for one, are we ready for these new realities? Nigeria actually ready for the change she so much wants? Are the citizens also informed, duly informed about what this portends for Nigeria's economy? My name is Olabisi Olaniyi. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on this week's edition of Public Square. In the studio with me this morning, I have Mr. Zadok Akintoye, who is not here yet anyway. I have Mr. Femi Omoshiwa. Thank you for coming. He's the legal practitioner.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigerians, and congratulations for the change of pattern of leadership in Nigeria. And we pray it's going to usher us into a wonderful session.
Okay, Mr. Zadok Akintoye is here already. Good morning, sir.
It's a pleasure. Good morning. Thank you for having me on your program this morning.
It's good to have you.
It's good. It was tough getting here, but good to be here.
Okay, we understand. So yes, this conversation is one of the biggest right now. Nigerians are talking about the removal, the eventual announcement of the fuel subsidy removal that was done on the 29th of May. While the president was delivering his inaugural speech, the realities that we currently have to grapple with as Nigerians and what the future holds. Yeah. The assumption that is in the public space right now, some of these things, a lot of people believe that the president is kicking off his administration with a snag, like on a complicated note. Absolutely. Do you agree that that's the situation right now, Zadok?
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree, and it's unfortunate. If you remember several conversations we had here, I said that subsidy should go. Because we expected that when the president comes in, he will put in a process for the excising of the subsidy. But unfortunately, the president followed the path of past administrations, what I call the elites being disconnected from the reality of majority of Nigerians. And so when that decision came on May the 29th, the adverse effect of having that decision at that time.
Did that decision come on May 29th?
Yes, you see why some would say that the president did not pronounce that subsidy was over. some would say that what he just simply said, and I did say it here also, that the president said, and I quote him, he said, unfortunately, we have not made, allowances have not been made for subsidy beyond June. So, but that subsidy has ended in Nigeria and all. And when he said that, automatically the market responded. The market responded because now the trust value of government, that's what government actually does market is trust. And so once government withdraws that trust from that services, market forces come into play, and that's what you've seen happen now. Market forces are in play. People are already preparing themselves for the next reality, that products may be acquirable only at a higher price. And if you are going to get it at a higher price, automatically you want to make as much money to be able to fend for that price. But the concern for me is that whatever we have in our reserves at the moment from NNPC, whatever we have in the tanks from the independent marketers, subsidy has been paid for. And so who is recouping the money? Is it going back to the federal government? For instance, if we've paid subsidy or made arrangement for subsidy till the end of June, and subsidy has ended as at May 29, the implication will be that subsidy payment for June should be cancelled. And so we need to ask those questions and find out where the money is going.
Okay. The reason I asked the question of whether or not that decision was made on the 29th is because this conversation has been on for as long as I can remember. Even though there haven't been any president, so to speak, that has been courageous enough to make this a point of duty, to make it a point of duty to actually tackle this head on and make pronouncements, official pronouncements regarding the removal of the fuel subsidy. Mr. Moshua, before I come back to Zadok, do you think that pronouncement did more good than harm, or it did more harm than good?
It is unfortunate that this government is taking off in this footing. Why I say it is unfortunate is that I was expecting a clear departure from the normal way it has always been. What do I mean by this? It's like the government is still having a hangover of the past government, where the headship of government will say something, and the people who are supposed to do the needful will be doing something different. Just like Zadok said, this subsidy removal will start by the end of June. And if the president has said, oh, this thing was not captured in this budget and it is gone, it is the responsibility of the authority concerned to begin to educate and say, no, we have enough. Though NNPC said they had enough. But this thing has not started, at least to counter the presumption or the aftermath or effect. But what we are seeing here is, even NNPC, that is no longer a corporation, that is a limited liability company, is now the one playing the role of fixing prices, which is very wrong. We have NMDPRA, which is Nigerian Mainstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, which is saddled with the responsibility of regulating prices. But what NNPC is doing now is, NNPC is the one that is telling us this is how much it's going to be. And NNPC is not different from Matrix. Because they bring fuel, other people, they have their retail outlets everywhere, like other people. So they are fixing prices, which is very, very wrong. So when you begin to look at this, I know the laws are made to govern people, not animals. And with the terrible 8 years that Nigerians have shouted about, that, oh, they don't want this again, I was expecting the new government to I don't even expect President Tinubu to have even mentioned anything concerning concerning subsidy that very day.
On that day.
Because it doesn't even concern him. If he said subsidy, if he knew within himself that subsidy is gone, he ought to have kept quiet and let subsidy just be buried.
Don't you think
quietly?
Don't you think that would create a far worse havoc?
No.
Because let me get my question clear to you. Now that Nigerians are reacting, I hear a lot of people say, this is just a question anyway.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of Nigerians say that it was not the right time for him to have said that. And the question that I keep asking myself, knowing full well the Nigerians would most likely react the same way,
yes,
regardless of when and how.
Yes.
Do you think there would have been a better time than the inauguration day?
There will have been a better time.
Yes.
There will have been a better time. In fact, for the fact that new government just came in fact, even if for that one day, let us enjoy.
We should defer the problem.
Not even deferring the government. By his proclamation that day, it has not helped even the system, because by what is said and the normal usual way of people that are saddled with such responsibility of doing whatever government says, they have nonchalant attitude, and by that singular act, look at the consequences it has caused now. And I want to believe what the president meant is, we don't need to overflow this. This thing, even before I came, is gone. You understand? I want to use this medium. I want to use this medium to advise the new government.
Okay.
And because the audacity of campaign, the comfort of campaign that you can say anything is gone. As you have to, there must be a clear departure from audacity of campaign and reality of governance. Because whatever you say as a government, people are listening with rapt attention, and painstakingly they begin to read meaning to it. So I want to use this medium to advise our government, our new government. They should be careful about whatever they say, because it goes a long way. And also, let us look at even this fuel subsidy that we are talking about. If it is right, if there is time for it, why are we get crashing into it? What are the palliative measures? What are the things that we have prepared for that? Okay, if we are going to remove this, you are governing human being, you are not governing animal. What are the things that you have put in place? Many a times they will be talking about salary. I have never received salary in my life. I am 50-something years old. In a matter of years, I will be 60. What have I gained in this country? Anytime they are talking, they will be talking about salary. They will increase salary. They will do this. They will do that. What have I gained? What am I going to gain? Me, that I'm just a private yes. So you have to begin to think about other people who do not even receive salary. How do they survive?
Yeah.
Okay, now Zadok, let's be objective with how
we are
deal,
really trying to be objective.
how we deal with this issue. I understand the emotions of Nigerians. I am also a Nigerian. Yes. I also own. I'm directly affected by some of these policies.
Yes.
But the question is, this is an offshoot. This policy direction is an offshoot, so to speak, of the Buhari administration.
Yes.
This is by no means the making of the new president. Why is it taking the bulk of the blame?
That's the question we should ask. I'm sure the president understands that Nigerians went through the worst period since 1999 under President Muhammadu Buhari. That government was a government that disappointed citizens. Even the president, the current president, did distance himself severally from that government. During the campaigns, he also did. It would have been good. It's just like when you just marry a new wife and you bring the new wife into the house and she doesn't respect the family well enough to just keep quiet, and the first thing she begins to say is that her mother-in-law does not know how to sweep. That automatically means that new wife has created a problem for herself in that family. Some of us supported Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even when we didn't, we were of a different political leaning, because we felt that was the right person. But then coming into office and starting off on this note is not bravery. It's absolute lack of understanding of the challenges of the country. Is that elite disdain for citizens? It's oftentimes the character of citizens who have been privileged for so long, who don't really understand. And I said to somebody this morning, we want subsidy to go, but we want clear-cut plans. We want a process. Yes. It's not just by pronouncement. When President Muhammadu Buhari was coming into power, he made several pronouncements about jailing people. That created a problem in the country. He created capital flight. At the end of the day, this new president is coming in. We're expecting to depart totally. I don't want a memory of President Muhammadu Buhari for a day. But you have to then begin to see my president carrying the character of somebody that not only tortured our emotions, tortured our nationhood, tortured everything about us, rendered us poorer, took our jobs away, and you immediately follow his pattern. You could respect us by just giving it some time. Anyway, arrangement has been made for subsidy for until the end of June. You didn't need to talk about that. I filled my gas tank the morning of that incident. Fortunately for me, I filled at 220. Now I have to fill at 500 and something. To fill that gas tank now, I need between 35,000, a small car, 35,000 and 42,000. That means there's a leap.
I bought 10 liters this morning.
There's
5,000 naira.
Yeah, there's a 300% or 200% leap in my expenses. How am I going to cover for that? I'm willing to, suffer for this subsidy theft to stop, because I think Nigeria is a crime scene. But I want to see my president talk about the people who stole the money. Talk about the civil servants who own most of the tank farms by proxy, who've given it to their friends to manage for them. I want to see the president coming in to tackle the government, the challenges of the country by process, not by emotions. That announcement he made that day has literally taken the breath out of us, because we are not prepared. We were thinking that, and I have advised severally, you are coming into a government, we have reserves that can, at least from NNPC, that can take us a couple of months. That means the reserves are largely been paid for. We can't have the oil in our tanks without having paid for them. So that means the nation, you can still cushion this for a while. Let's say we are cushioning it for 1 month. Extend it by 1 month. Meet stakeholders. Not as a continuation of President Muhammadu Buhari. You said, and I quote the president, when President Goodluck Jonathan decided to remove subsidy, this is what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said: I am not calling President Jonathan an evil man. I do not believe he is perverse. And I'm quoting him. However, the economic ideas controlling him are so misguided that they have a perverse impact, because he's slave to strong-headed economics. The people who will become enslaved to misery. The people will become enslaved to misery. End of quote. And that is exactly what President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done. It's not because he's not kind, but because he took responsibility by that statement for 8 years of Buhari. And citizens will not be kind to him. We expected you to depart from that 8 years. We are not saying give us subsidy. Everybody knows subsidy is largely a crime perpetrated by Nigerians against Nigerians for Nigeria, privileged Nigerians.
Now,
but depart from it.
Let's explore the legality or otherwise of departing, in your words, from the provisions made in the 2023 budget.
No, we are not saying issue.
It is no. The question I want to ask now: you are a legal practitioner. Was it, or would it have been legal for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to alter the already passed into law 2023 budget, just so it could, in your words, delay what would eventually be done? Can he, or could he have altered the 2023 budget by saying that he wants to extend the fuel subsidy that has already been taken away from the budget with effect from June?
When you look at the mantra of the campaign of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, removal of subsidy is one of it. And nobody is expecting him to come and start doing something different from even what is not even there. We knew it was going to be removed. Like what Zadok said, it should have allowed us to even enjoy a little breeze of new government. We have, at least when you just marry a new wife, you have been rushing to the kitchen to cook by yourself, say, let my wife come and cook for me. Let me even enjoy, how she cooks and what have you. We have not seen it. And I know quite sure that this is not his intention. He never meant this. And that is why I put the load on the authority concerned, like NNPC. NNPC ought to have taken the bull by the horn and said, yes, the president has said it, subsidy is going. And subsidy is meant to go. In fact, it was not even captured in this budget, but it is going to terminate, eventually by the end of June. And we are in June.
In June?
In June.
Whether at the end of the month?
At the end of the month, yeah, on or before. Or let's say even end of June, because everybody wants.
1st of June.
Yes, but we are not seeing that. Even immediately the pronouncement was made that day. Do I call it pronouncement? Because
that was just like a confirmation.
A confirmation.
It wasn't a pronouncement.
It wasn't a pronouncement. A confirmation
of what had been done.
Yes, what is on ground. And people took. In fact, I never believed that it was going to be like that. A friend of mine said, "Go and buy fuel." I said, "Buy fuel for what?" I said, "The man only confirmed that the subsidy is gone." Before you know what's happening, under 2 hours, panic buying, and you begin to.
Who do we blame in that instance?
We blame the government. We blame.
Government.
Let me tell you one thing. You know, I campaign seriously for this government. I will not. It will not be difficult for me to campaign against this government as well, because at my age, I don't need to sweet talk anybody. I don't need to bootlick anybody. If what I'm praying for is a better Nigeria, which I know President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is capable of delivering, I will not wink in doing what is right and making the government to be in the right direction. And the problem that we have in this country.
Yes, I think the issue with him, and let me take it from where my brother, my dear friend and the lawyer said. I think the problem is not that people don't want to support Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I think the problem is the fact that the miscommunication of his intent. What government actually sells to the people is trust. Government's primary goods and services it sells either to the citizens or to the international community is trust. And so once you are president and you make a pronouncement or a comment or a body language that is not based on a prepared process, people are going to respond to you because you are the potentate, you are the authority of the country. What we should have done, and what I would have advised Baba to have done, was to have first engaged stakeholders. Let me give you an instance. Now you have done it. The privileged who have the financial capacity to own fuel stations are predating on the people. How do you begin to tackle them across 36 states of the Federation at the same time? How? You don't have the manpower to do that. As a matter of fact, you will be calling them to war against you. But if you had waited, sit down in government, that was a priority we needed to do, review what was happening there. Now we don't have subsidy. Why do we need an NPCL anymore? Why does government need to own an NPCL if we don't have subsidy? Why are we owning these infrastructures? Why are we owning these institutions? Why is DPR still there? Why are we paying salary? If we are saying that categorically as a government that we are no longer subsidizing and we are deregulating the downstream oil sector, then what do we need an NPC for? What do we need DPR for? What do we need these agencies for? Okay. So, but you have not done that. You have had citizens start suffering while you give me time to be dealing with the thieves who are most likely going to escape. So that's where you lose trust. And what Baba has done, I sincerely had great expectations. I sincerely thought that we were going to depart from the norm. But that single action of that day and the torture it has caused makes me begin to doubt if I made the right decision.
Let us not forget that all the three contenders, the top contenders,
they said they were going to remove subsidy. They didn't say
fuel subsidy removal. I remember vividly. Zadok, let me learn, please. I remember vividly in a video clip of the Labour Party presidential candidate when he was saying that if he becomes president, the fuel subsidy regime would not extend for 1 day. It will not continue for one extra
Why
day.
Then did we vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Why didn't we just vote for the Labour Party candidate? So that if that was look, the majority,
they all alluded to the fact that this is an organized crime.
I agree, and Nigerians, including myself, think that subsidy is a crime, but there's a process. Nigerian elite oftentimes find it easy to say citizens pay the price. What are the price of the governors? What about the governors? What about the people in the National Assembly? Do we need a Senate, for instance? Are we asking them, are you showing example by saying that this is where government is going to cut cost? For instance, the president needed to have given us at least 72 hours. Where you remember I said he needed to give a State of the Nation address. The first thing you are talking about is subsidy. You have not addressed the nation. We don't know where we are. Our finances, we don't know what we are owing. We don't know what income revenue we have. But we are saying that citizens start paying the price while I work on that. No, that's not right. No. That's not fair.
It's wrong.
That is totally wrong. What you need to do for us now that you are presiding over power is to come back and look at the issue and then address the nation. And then that way you can. Why I'm displeased is this.
Okay.
Why I'm displeased is this. The goodwill Politicians lose goodwill so fast because of that elite attitude, that arrogance. The goodwill that citizens, including myself, are willing to give to the president, that would have made this government work. You don't start like this. You want to start with a departure. I'm not saying subsidy should not go, but anybody that did what Baba has done will face the wrath of the people.
That's it.
Okay, now,
unfortunately,
let's do a little bit of grammar here. When you say subsidy, fuel subsidy is gone, that's a quite ambiguous statement.
Yeah.
It could mean that you are saying it emphatically that it is gone because you're the one who is initiating the process. And it could be that you are certain and already made decision that anyways, no matter what we do, and after all, this is gone because the process has been concluded, it's been initiated and it's been concluded. Could this be a function of misinterpretation of intent?
I want to believe there is no ambiguity in removal of subsidy. It has become
the statement that he made during
the statement he made is a confirmation that I campaigned that I was going to remove subsidy even before I took over the mantle of leadership. The paper before me does not capture subsidy. In that vein, subsidy is gone. The man, what I was expecting the man to do was, even if it takes 3 months, let them be doing whatever. In fact, if I were him, I would have used 3 months to study the thieving, the stealing, the things happening there. Since it has given an omnibus scenario, I would have used it to study it, and I'll send some people, let's study the magic, the rocket science that people are using for this, to now confirm the stealing that people have always said they do there. And by that time, we will have concluded and said, okay, this is my reason and this is my justification for saying I was going to remove it. And that would have helped Nigerians. I would have been buying our fuel even between 250, 190, 195, even till the end of June. And by the time it goes up, that time, naturally, that thing will have taken care.
Okay, let's quickly listen to this clip talking about allowing time so that you can properly understand how the stealing, the orchestration of corruption in that sector of the economy. Well, a lot of Nigerians believe that you do not. It is not rocket science to quickly know that there is a lot of misdeeds ongoing in that sector. Even people who are no more in government, who are probably have been there once, and are no more there, understand that is what people like Peter Obi, who has never been in government at the federal level, knew that there was stealing going on in the system. Let's hear this from
to support good public policy.
This is Mrs. Ngozi Okoja speaking.
It's alive today.
I hope this is clear enough.
My second example has to do with a very specific one in my country. The cleanup of the fuel subsidy regime in 2012 during my second stint as finance minister. Nigeria has a fiscally challenging fuel subsidy regime. The country exports crude oil and imports most of its refined needs because its refineries are in very bad shape, and provides a subsidy for the sales of refined oil at the pump. At the end of 2011, a total of 1.73 trillion naira, US $11 billion equivalent, was submitted as claims for subsidies by 143 marketers who were importing the product. These numbers seemed horrendously large compared to what I had last seen when I was in government in 2006, which was closer to $2 billion in subsidy. So we decided to audit these claims.
Okay, let's just leave it at that.
Yes.
That's just to confirm that there have been this back and forth. Systemic
stealing.
Exactly, within the system.
Who are those stealing?
Well, that's a question that you and I would have to
That's
find out.
No, you can tell them.
The people that steals know the people that steals. People in the system know them.
Yes.
They know. They are robbing Peter to pay Paul.
We can tell them who are those that are stealing.
Yes.
The presidency knows. Look, this is the challenge.
Okay.
And this subsidy problem started with the military. when the military was having a problem with NLC and NUPEC and the oil sector, which were constantly shutting down our refineries, the NNPC began the option of importing. They will collect money. You know, the refineries were shut down. So they will collect money from the Abacha administration to ensure that the system, because NNPC wasn't going down, they were not shutting down, they were not going on strike. The civil servants there were not going on strike. So they will collect money and import. And then it is what they account for. That was where the need for tank farms came. That's why most of the tank farms were built around the port. So these individuals who steal this money, this subsidy money given to them by the military, are likely the same individuals that finance the tank farms. Most of them have left the system and now they are billionaires. They are sitting down in the system as, past this, past that, but owners of tank farms. These are the same people who were administrators, the civil servants in NNPC. In conjunction with the people in the military, in conjunction with the people in the system and the customs. They will go and bring a tanker of diesel or petrol. Then at the sea, instead of discharging it, they will give them a clearance. Is it me that will give them the clearance? Is it not civil servants that will clear them that the oil has been discharged? And then they will give these people money. This subsidy is our people that, as I said it before, Nigerians are the biggest enemy of this country. The presidency knows most of these individuals are now in politics. Most of them are now the people we call billionaires in our country.
It has even gotten to a
Is
level
the
now
president
where
willing? We will pay. Look, remove the subsidy, let us suffer. But we give you time to put people in prison for the crime that they committed against
Can
humanity.
I shock you and tell you the mind of the citizens?
Okay.
The citizens, their mindset now is, let subsidy be. If you cannot bring out those people that are stealing through the subsidy era, and because it has gotten to a level...
Is it too late?
It is not too late.
Is it too late for some sort of policy redirection?
It's not too late. It's not too late.
Why do we want to go back to our...
No, what they are saying is, if you say you want to save their money for them, because what the excuse of government now is that people are stealing through these means and they are making themselves fat. They're making their pockets fat. But by the time you say you want to stop this subsidy, are they so sure? How are they so sure that this money is going to be used for them? That many money have been collected, Abacha loot and what have you. Is it going to be used for them as well?
Since I've been, looking at these issues from different angles, I hear from the side of Nigerians, I hear from the side of stakeholders, I hear from the side of the elites. And one thing is paramount. Nigerians just do not know what they want and how they want it.
No, Nigerians
Let me ask a question, Barrister Moshua. We've been talking about subsidizing other sectors of the economy. Education, for instance, needs to be subsidized. The health sector should be subsidized. And yet we claim to be heavily subsidizing the oil sector. Don't you think it's only commonsensical for any government who really wants to do some of these things to have to let go of some policies that could seemingly look like it's creating comfort for the masses to give better life for the citizenry on a long term?
Yes, you are right. In some advanced countries, education that you mentioned is being subsidized. Health is being subsidized. And when you look at Bola Ahmed Tinubu...
Even transportation.
In fact, he copiously said that how can he subsidize fuel in Nigeria and Benin Republic? Niger Republic and some neighboring countries are the ones that are enjoying it, which is reasonable. But the taking off of this confirmation of this policy is what people are not really happy about.
Okay, let's say
because it is in fact it has become, how can something just jump from 190, 200 to 500? That's about 250% increment.
I think it's important to note citizens are not unhappy that subsidy is going. If you go back to 2012, when subsidy was supposed to be removed under President Goodluck Jonathan, the value of the naira at that time was about 190 something to $1. If we had allowed subsidy to go at that time, the country would have had Fanta. So government opposed it because they felt that it was an antisocial thing to do. Now, but government at that time And the government after, which is the Buhari's government, never went after the subsidy thieves, never solved the problem of subsidy, did not tackle the challenges there. And after his leaving office, he handed over to his predecessor, who has also not taken time to, show us that he would like to tackle the people there. Who are the people there? That's the problem. They are the elites now.
Is only 2 days
That's
old.
why I said that what the government should have done.
Is it not too early to judge?
No. Look, we want to solve the problem of Nigeria together. I have said it before.
If we don't discuss it early like this, we'll have problem.
The biggest
biggest
issue ahead of this president is to get communicators to make sure Nigerians don't trust government anymore. Not because Nigerians don't love Nigeria. It's because over time government has failed to understand
this is not
that
really
trust
about the personality
it's
of
not,
the
it's
president.
not Ashiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Look, I said it here. I was of the PDP. I don't have a political party. I don't necessarily agree with him in everything he does. But I agree that he deserved to be the president at the time he became president. So we also did make sure that we supported him in the little ways we could. But what we are saying is that if you are the people's president, you are coming into power at a time where you were so ethnically opposed. So you need to get communicators. Now, you can't communicate your intent first as a president by doing exactly what Buhari did. That uncaring attitude. You say, okay, we must subsidy must go. Yes. What are you going to put in place? What are you going to do? How do you tackle it? Look, Nigerians won't buy buying at 700 per litre. If they see those who have been stealing money going to prison, you just tackle them. Just bring 34 people and say that these are the people we've investigated. We have EFCC, we have ICPC, we have the police, we have the DSS. All of them combined, we are paying salaries for them. They cannot solve the problem. You are not talking about them. You are not talking about the fuel tank operators. You are not talking about NNPC operators. You are not talking about anybody. But what you are saying is you are doing exactly what Obasanjo did, what Jonathan did, what Buhari did, which is to ask the citizens to pay for the privileges and the benefits of the wealthy.
I don't want to believe that was
wait, let me complete. I'm not saying that
wasn't the intention.
It may not be his intention.
It may not mean that.
Look,
I put the blame on the head of the authorities concerned, especially NNPC.
Why is it their fault? Is it not the president?
Because NNPC.
Is this ordinarily peculiar or normal with transition of power? If it were, let's just assume that we are having a president from another political platform.
Yes.
Would we have also experienced the same thing?
Maybe you would have thought very well before making that statement. Before you make that statement, you need to. I said something this morning. Let the privileged, let the governors, let them stop the comfort of their governor's lodge. Let them go and live in a one room and just attempt to ride a motorcycle for one day to make a living for a family of 4. And let them come back and tell us that they can, in all honesty, be just under the heavens of this country. For a governor to, when you are going out in the morning, you go out with about 20 vehicles, all of them V8s, V6, V12. Wait, sir, let me complete my line of thought. Let me complete my line of thought. You can't insist on the citizens paying the price without you showing example.
Let's go on a short break.
We must understand one thing before we go on short break, please. Okay. The peculiarity of fuel in Nigeria is what has made this to have skyrocketed. If not, he did mention exchange rate. He did mention the rate at which people are borrowing, that it will go down. And that has not even made the central bank to catch fire. You understand now? But the peculiarity of fuel, PMS, the way people use it every day, and it's as if we are solely dependent on it. It reflects on everything that we do. Children will go to school in the morning, we'll go to work, we will do this, put it in our generator and what have you. If not for that, maybe it wouldn't have been different from when he even said education. They are going to tackle this. Lecturer will 4-year education in university will be 4 years. Lecturer will not say, ever since he mentioned that, nothing has happened. But the peculiarity of this PMS is what has made this to happen. And I blame it solely on NNPC and the institution that are concerned, that are supposed to educate the masses that, this thing has not gone. But the president has only told us his mindset, what he wants to do.
Okay, well, a lot has been said, and we will open the ports for Nigerians to also talk about this. Let's hear what they feel about the president's announcement of an already removed fuel subsidy. That's how I'd like to put it, because this is not what he's initiating. It is a process that has been on. All he did was just confirm that it has been concluded. I have a few comments here, but first let's take call 0816-251-9991. 1 minute is all you have.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
What's your name?
I greet you, dear.
Thank you. What's your name?
And my name is Niyi Monday from Ekiti State.
Good to have you, Mr. Niyi.
Okay. What brings all this is subsidy or not subsidy. Now, let us look at when crude oil was not discovered in this nation. People are living fine because there's agriculture. They based on agric there. Now, crude oil has come out now. Let's look at the refinery. Is it the angel or demons that build all this refinery and give us a so date that this refinery will not work again? Now, I found the man that says that those that are embezzled the subsidy money, they will have been figure them out. Why they are instead of them be shouting, subsidy have been embezzled.
Okay.
If are they not, they don't know those are that are stealing this money. They are the one. All of them. They are the one that are doing it. Okay, you that in the studio now, you have body that is controlling how you are broadcasting. If anybody want to say something that is against other person, you will tell the person that is shut up because you are afraid the body.
Okay.
Now, if those that are selling fuel are afraid government, they wouldn't have done what they do 2 days ago.
All right. Thank you
See how
very
people
much.
have been lamenting now.
All right. Thank
now,
you
if
very
you go
much.
to market,
We really appreciate your contribution, but please let's restate that so we can allow just 60 minutes, 60 seconds, 1 minute for your opinions to be heard. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Hello?
All right, 0816-251-9991. 1 minute is all you have to air your opinions on the show this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good to have you. What's your name?
Hello?
Okay, since we have a little issue with our lines, would come back to calls. But then I've got comments on Facebook as well regarding this issue. Nigerians are talking about it, and I understand that, yes, this directly affects our day-to-day activities. Adewale Oduyemi says it is getting out of hand. We look forward to Mr. President's next speech. Sha. Okay. Thank you for that. Some more again. Dennis Orido says it's foolhardy for anyone to embark on straightforward fuel subsidy removal without putting in place blacketing, appeasing, or mollifying alternatives or options. Without mincing words, the new president started on a sad, discouraging, and irritating note. Well, that's your opinion. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Can you please move away from your radio?
Okay. I'm Shikipera from Ikoki.
Good to have you from Ikuti.
Yeah, the problem we have is the marketers.
Okay.
Because the product we are sending now has already been subsidized. They ought to have waited till the time whether the price is going to be increased at the NNPC or whoever that is controlling the price before they say they are increasing their sales. So it's very, very unfair on their side. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that addition. That was why I asked the other time, Zadok, if you were following me. I said, is this just about the government? When Mr. Moshiwa mentioned it, that it was immediately after that announcement that marketers began to hike their prices, and we saw fear queues from across all parts of the country. Is that the government's fault?
Yes, it is
or
the
the
fault
Nigerian?
No, not Nigerians.
The Nigerian factor that always creeps in at every point in time.
Nigerians become the way they are because government allows it. When the other time where we had issues with fuel here in Ondo State, was the government not sleeping and not doing anything? Can I go and enforce a position of government on behalf of government? Is it not the government that would say that these are sanctions for doing this thing? How many people have been punished? All the time we have strikes in this state, how many people have been punished? If you allow the people to become the ones to punish those who go against the law, that will give us, it will be something, it will be a decay of law and order. So that is why government is there. People are stealing.
Are we encouraging unnecessary profiteering
No, we can't do anything.
Of the Nigerian masses?
Look, let me speak for the oil marketers, for instance.
Oil marketers already subsidized
That's
products.
what I'm saying. Let me speak for them, for instance. They have products in their tanks. All of a sudden, government begins to give body language that it's going to be difficult to get more in a country where the system doesn't work. So what do you expect them to do? They'll start adjusting themselves. But it is government's duty to make sure you don't do it. People in these states will have fuel in their tank, in their subsurface tank. They won't sell it. Nobody punishes them for anything. Most of the filling stations, is it you and I that own it? The people that own it when the governor or the president is doing the wedding of his child, those are the people you see there. The people that can afford to go there are the people that are stealing the wealth of the country. It's not you and I. It's not Barrister Moshua. Does he have a filling station?
Okay.
There was a day a particular essay of the governor picked a woman who was selling fuel at a wrong price. A particular essay, a very commendable essay in this state, picked a woman who owned a filling station, who began to insult them. And the man insisted on doing what is right. That essay is no longer working there to be in charge of making sure that oil marketers. But these are the kind of people we need. Who cares who you are when you are doing something against the law? Is it not government that is supposed to put this same government that will say, Mr. Yinka is our friend,
directives were given.
So there's nothing they are going to do.
And
where police do police jobs so that they can make money, where police will only go out so that they can catch people that are thieves, that they can collect money from.
Okay,
the country is dead.
All right, we have other comments. Adewale Andrew on Facebook says things will be all right in due course. We are hopeful. Thank you for that. Edward Anthony said things are getting out of hand. Nigeria needs God intervention. Will surely save us from this mess. Thank you. Igbasa Femi, the president knows more than what we are looking at because he knows that the fuel removal will help Nigeria in many ways because those groups that are working in fuel subsidy are not using all the money in the right way. All right, thank you very much. We appreciate you, Igbasa Femi. Opportunity comes but once. Remember what happened during the scarcity of Naira notes. POS operators. Okay, that seems like an incomplete sentence. Our leaders should plan well before they speak. All right, thank you, SHF OB, for that comment. We'll take a few more calls, maybe 2 calls, and before we wrap it up in the studio. 08162519991, number to call.
Hello?
Good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
We can hear you. Good morning. All right, now the deed has been done. This is more like a case of skills.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling. What's your name?
This is King of Boys from Ore.
Good to have you, King of Boys.
You see, it's too late to cry when the head is off. The deed is done already. Let us try and enjoy it like that. That's what I'm King of Boys from Ore.
Okay.
Even if we are going to enjoy it like that, we must not stop. We must not continue without reprimanding NMPC. NMPC, as of today, has enough. Even Yoruba will say, "Toju akataba lewo, enwe diye kolo ye katibo." If NMPC said they have more than enough
to last the country
for 30 days,
yeah.
And these products have been subsidized, why is NMPC selling at the same price like other filling stations?
At the new regulated price.
Same regulated price.
Why are we paying?
It's quite scandalous.
Why are we paying civil servants in DPR to do nothing? Why don't we sack DPR? Sack everybody.
I think NMPC should be selling for 250 or 225. Then if we go to another station, we'll get for 500. But same NMPC is the one that is selling at same rate like other filling stations. They have to be reprimanded. They need, in fact, if possible, they should be sued.
I'm hoping that the president will implement the Orosoi report. A lot of agencies of government are totally needless. People like DPR, we don't need DPR. They are practically sitting off that express. They are always sitting in the office doing nothing. They're absolutely irresponsible to what they are employed and they are paying them for. They are not doing anything. How many filling stations have you seen them sanctioned? How many people have they punished? That's why Nigerians, you and I that are on the, that's why I'm praying. Most Nigerians, our hope and expectation is to climb the ladder. Because once you climb the ladder, you forget the suffering of the people. And that's what's happening here. Those who are comfortable don't remember that.
I hope you will do better when you
know the heart is always there for the people. Doesn't matter.
What about all the clogs on the wheel of progress that will not allow things to work?
Look,
because that has always been
the president is going to face.
We've been talking about palliatives and short fixes. I mean, pending when everything would get better. What sort of palliatives are you expecting, Mr. Moshua?
In fact, there are quite a lot of palliatives. Number one, the modular refineries. If they can be encouraged, this thing can be done under 2-3 months. And if there are other ways, after all, they said Dangote, what's it called, is going to commence by July. The Bible says you cannot collect bean cake from a child and will not replace it with another thing. How can you collect something from us and you are not giving us another thing? Then you want us to die and you are governing for us, not for animal.
Okay, Zadok.
I think we should cut costs not just in this fuel. Government should borrow money. And what do I think they should borrow money for? There are agencies of government, several agencies of government that are increasing our expenditure. We need to begin to dissolve them. Borrow money, pay people their severance packages, let them go and do something with their money. Let's stop paying agencies like DPR and several arms and NDAs of government that are absolutely...
Which are measures?
We should all those things... agency for nomadic education, agency for some things that are not relevant. We have a director, we have an entire cadre of government running in an agency that is not producing anything.
Okay.
Let's borrow money and pay people off. Let them go and do something with the money that will ginger the economy. Let's reduce our overhead. Not just asking people that are not collecting anything from government to start paying for the benefit of people that are collecting something.
All right, this is a policy that affects the people directly, and that is why some of us are not surprised that we're getting this sort of reaction from the people. And we're hopeful that in coming days, the president will do something fast to ensure that the sufferings of Nigerians occasioned by this new regime are ameliorated. Next week, Thursday, we will be back, God willing. I'm Olabisi Olani Oluwasegun. Good morning. Thank you very much, my studio guests, for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.